Well, it's not an OnlyFans thing. Let's just say that.
It's that time again. Time for the all-new Culture Cast, which begins right now.
This is the all new Culture Cast. I am the Gorehound.
I'm Cousin Charles.
And I'm Mike.
And we are the all new Culture Cast. Not to mention it twice, but it's good to see you guys. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Very
Technically,
well.
it's fun.
It's good to be coming back on a regular basis now. So, Cuz, what are we talking about today?
Well, on tonight's very special episode of the All New Culture Cast, we finally sell out and are covering WandaVision, the new MCU Disney Plus streaming television event, miniseries, movie, whatever you want to call it.
Just like every other white guy podcast in their 20s and 30s talking about culture. We gotta
Exactly.
we gotta join in on the fray. So yeah, WandaVision just wrapped up on Friday on Disney Plus, and have you guys been watching it since the beginning?
Yes.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I just bought Disney Plus just for the month of like mid season through, so I could only pay for 1 month, and so I canceled it the next day because I got Disney Plus before, and there's nothing else on there that I want except for just like a series or two. So
Take that, Kevin Feige. Beat
yeah,
your system.
honestly, like I'm gonna keep on doing it. So,
I'm
but
not going to lie, I kind of forgot it. I after between Mandalorian season 1 and 2, I kind of forgot I had it.
yeah, yeah. So, can we get a plot overview on what this crazy story is about?
Mike, why don't you take that one?
Okay. Well, basically, it just the series starts out as the first two episodes that we see. You see Wanda and Vision in this weird, like, sitcom-y life, and you don't really know what's going on with that. And I don't know why you asked me to start. I'm terrible at explaining plot here.
Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but this does take place in the chronological order. Like, this is the latest development in the MCU, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So,
It's
we're coming off of the Avengers Endgame, where Vision has been killed because his Mind Stone has been ripped from him by Thanos, and Scarlet Witch is dealing with that grief, and we don't really know how she's dealing with it, but this is where she is. So I took the series to be like a lot about grief and like coming to terms with it.
mhm.
But ultimately, I think I came in here with the expectation that this is going to be like every other Marvel series, where it's just like cameo, hint of a new series. This guy is introduced, and it wasn't that. Did you guys get that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, my wife even watched it with me. And she's not a big comic book fan. She doesn't really. She thinks some of the Marvel movies are okay, but she really liked this because this was different. Because this
Yeah.
wasn't your typical Marvel or comic book story, and I liked how it starts out with this. Oh, this looks kind of weird. It's experimental. It kind of reminded me of Truman Show, where
Yeah.
you see this like TV life, but you see little hints and clues that something's not right. And so, like the outside world is trying to reach in and say, "Hey, this is what's going on here. Something's not right." And I liked how, as we got into each episode, we found out it just got a little bit darker, and we realized this is really about a woman's grief and how she's dealing with tragedy and loss.
hmm Yeah. And so, without giving away enough spoilers, we see how the plot unfolds and the sitcoms start changing, and by the end, we do have a pretty solid conclusion as to the who is the protagonist, who is the antagonist, and you know everybody lives happily ever after.
Yeah, my general uh, my general experience with the show is, I think like most people, I was really kind of like, I was hooked in with how weird and kind of like, you know what, if you don't know anything about the MCU, you're gonna be and you just think, oh, this is a superhero thing, you're gonna get caught totally off guard. But as the show kind of progressed, I think from like episode 4 onwards, I started to notice, they started again trying to cram this very unique idea for a show into more of the Marvel mold, which takes kind of something that started off really interesting and kind of ends it on a very sort of note, because it doesn't really end on like a triumphant or like a, oh my god, that was crazy. It was more just like, okay.
Right, right. Yeah, and
And that's
I was really looking for, I mean, frankly, I was looking for Mephisto and a solid link into Doctor Strange 2, because I, frankly, I don't know why, but that's what I wanted.
Well, and if you're on any of the, like, I've been on Reddit a lot after, like when I'm
Yeah.
really into a show, like as soon as a new episode airs, I go, again, you call it what it is, but I have to get others' opinions to validate my own. So I
Oh yeah,
immediately go
yeah.
on Reddit. And
No,
the
no, because
fan,
as soon as I finished the episode on Friday, I was like, oh my gosh, that was stupid.
mhm.
But then come around 2 days and I'm like, okay. It wasn't what I was expecting.
No, it definitely, like, this is one of the reasons why fans should not write a show, because I think
Yeah.
because there would be all, because again there was, I think over the course of like the 7 week, I guess, yeah, 7 week runtime of the show, there was all sort of fan theories from like, this is how the MCU is connecting to the Fox X-Men, this is where's
Mhm.
Mephisto,
Yeah.
Nightmare, a whole are the Kree involved. There was like a bunch of fan theories that just again did not end up panning out. I
Right.
think between 8 and 9, I remember reading one where they were like, at the, again, I'm going to do my nerd impression, so I apologize to to our listening audience, but there was one where like, at the end of Avengers: Age of Ultron, the last Ultron unit does not have a left arm. When the White Vision opens up his eyes, he looks at his left arm. Clearly, White Vision is Ultron. And even I was sucked in. I was like, maybe it
Yeah.
is Ultron. That'd be kind of neat. But I liked what they ended up giving us, better than just like, oh my God, Ultron's back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you also heard the universe cry out, Ralph Boner? Boner? What?
I think
I
there was
really
someone.
think that's just a red herring. And I would love it if it really does not go into anything more. Just that's what it is.
I think I saw someone say online, Kevin Feige spent 71 million dollars just to make a boner joke.
Hey, well done. I gotta
Yeah.
say, well done.
Yeah.
But going back to like the typical Marvel movies, it was in the course of watching these episodes that I was just perusing around Disney Plus, and then I realized that I have never seen Captain America 2 or 3, and I have like prided myself on like I've seen every single movie in this universe, and I was like I have not seen these, and so I watched them, and they were just like as I would have expected them, just like Black Panther is just like this guy who like nobody knows about, but is like elevated to such a level, and like the Spider-Man, and it's just there's so much emphasis on these characters that's really undue, because frankly I have been reading these comics like crazy, and so the only thing I know from Black Panther is from the comics, and the way that they're treating him in the movies is like really weird and like on a pedestal, when really like he's kind of just in his place and he's part of the Avengers sometimes and he's not others. So, and then seeing how they did WandaVision, it's drastically different.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I agree. It was just, I thought it was really nice to finally like see the story focus on her, because I feel like you would always hear characters in the background talk about, oh, how dangerous she is and how powerful she is. It was
Mhm.
kind of nice to finally see exactly why she's dangerous and scary.
Yeah, yeah. Even the Graveyard Queen made that comment, saying, "So if she's so powerful, why doesn't she just like the most powerful mutant?" And I was like, "She is the most
Yeah,
powerful mutant." And then I told her the whole House of M series, and I'm like, "See, she is."
which going back to those online fan theories, I think that was one of the ones I was even tossed in amongst them, like, oh, this is their adaptation of a House of M or something along those lines. But if anything, if it's going to steal from the X-Men, it seems like the way that they're interpreting the Scarlet Witch going forward is not too dissimilar from like a Dark Phoenix type story,
Sure.
where it's like we have a heroic character who's got an unnatural power that is a danger to everything else around her, which could be interesting if they pull it off right. Um, but yeah, just kind of it's just one of those. I guess it's sort of we'll see, because I know you brought up earlier about like expecting to see Doctor Strange, and that's not. And I think a lot. I know I was mainly because I think, and this is the problem with a lot of the Marvel movies and superhero comics or superhero movies, is we know all the behind the scenes of leading up to it. It's kind of like we know how the sausage is getting made, and I
Yeah.
know like
Right.
I think at the Comic Con when they announced the show, they were like, "Oh, this show will lead right into Doctor Strange 2." So it is kind of a little odd that there wasn't anything more than just a name drop for Strange. Instead, given that this is supposed to be, in theory, in terms of the movie, this is supposed to lead directly into that film.
Yeah. I kind of
Right.
hate that they've like listed out like all the Marvel movies for like the next 30 years.
Hmm.
Like Doctor Strange isn't coming out for a full year, like to the month, and it's just like we have to be thinking about this for an entire year. But
I
like
think,
that's exactly in their marketing.
yeah, I think a lot of people are going to forget that this show probably happened
Yeah,
by the time Doctor Strange 2 rolls around.
probably. Because I mean we're gonna have, you know, Black Widow, the other Disney Plus series, and whatever else is coming out before then. It's just like, yeah, we have short attention spans.
Pretty much. Thus is the internet.
Yeah, yeah. So did you guys have you guys read Scarlet Witch or Vision comics before this?
I have not. I'm actually more of a I'm probably more of a casual fan.
Yeah,
I just started getting into the movies maybe a few years ago.
yeah,
So, and I haven't read the comics, so I'm very, very casual.
yeah. This was actually one of the last comic lines that I collected in full, like from the original comics from conventions, and yeah, I really like Scarlet Witch just on her own, and I've really grown to like really like Vision, based on how the movies are portraying him. It's and frankly, it really hit me just like how cool he looks in this. I was like, man, he looks really badass.
They do get some good hero shots with them.
Yeah,
Um, Although I will say the only thing that kind of gives me nightmares to this day is during the '80s episode where they clearly like photoshopped some kid's photo with the Vision makeup. It was
yeah,
like
Oh, right, yeah.
straight nightmare fuel.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little freaky.
What do you guys think that is going to happen to her children in the future?
most most likely, that's probably. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second, fellas. I apologize. But most likely, if she is being involved in Doctor Strange 2, where that movie clearly from the title alone is supposed to finally get into the multiverse, which they've teased for the last two MCU projects.
Yeah,
I imagine she's gonna be like, I'm gonna find the universe where my kids are still alive, or where my kids are real, and I'm bringing them back to our reality.
yeah,
Because they are, I know they are, again, going back to fan theories, and there was a bunch of videos about them, like, is this the start of the Young Avengers and this
right,
and that?
right.
Like, um, which I did
Yeah, because I
appreciate.
mean, based on how it ended, I really thought that like they cannot exist outside of the hex. But
Mhm.
with Marvel theories, you can run around anything.
As I've said to Megan many times, look, there's some stupid science BS that's going to explain how all this stuff works. Just
Yeah.
enjoy the ride and don't
Mm.
think too hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, and I mean, frankly, I think that would be great because we really need to see different characters come around. I mean, I hate Iron Man because of like how overplayed he is in every single MCU movie. I'm just like sick of it, and I'm just ready to move on.
Well, and again, kind of going back to how the sausage is made, I think every Marvel project going forward has had some sort of like, will Robert Downey Jr. make a cameo? Will Chris Evans pop up? No, those guys are done. Let them be
Right.
done.
Yeah.
If you
Stop
bring
wasting
them
money
back,
on them.
yeah, if you bring them back in any capacity whatsoever, it's just going to cheapen it. It's just going to cheapen that moment in Endgame and just make it feel like, well, this didn't really matter at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
So personally, did you guys like the series?
I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved it from the very first, even the first, because I think they released the first 2 episodes in
Yep.
one day. I was hooked just because I love old time sitcoms. Like I would watch those when I was younger.
Yeah.
I used to watch Nick at Night all the time. I was obsessed with Bewitched and I Love Lucy. So this definitely kind of struck a chord with
Yeah.
me. And I remember.
Coincidentally, I've been wanting to buy the entire Home Improvement series, just because there's like 11 seasons, and I'm like, if I get like a compilation, which is only like 50 to 70 bones, like I'm gonna have enough TV to watch for like a full year. And like I watched an episode, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is just so classic sitcom-y. And yeah, it just fits right in.
Yeah. We've been watching Dick Van Dyke too.
Okay,
Just
so you're
just
going real.
rewatching some of the old ones. Yeah, yeah. It's just especially watching WandaVision just kind of brought me back to that. It's like I want to revisit some of these old sitcoms.
Yeah. Have you rewatched the Addams Family?
Actually, no. Uh-uh.
Oh my gosh, I remember I started that um a few years back, and I just got so hooked on it. It was one of the best series I've ever watched, and it's so much fun, and I just like every single character in that movie or the series. It's great, and I hate the movies now. Like after watching that, it's
Oh wow.
stark difference.
Hot take.
Yeah. And I stand by it. You guys should definitely catch it. Do it during Halloween this year.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Cuz, did you like it?
in kind of taking the whole thing in, I would say the show is good. I don't know if it ever really, truly, for me, ever reached the point of greatness. Like I loved how it started. Again, fully, wholeheartedly committed to being a sitcom, start to finish. Like it's a
Mhm.
sitcom situation, sitcom problems. Only very little bit cueing you in that something's not right here. But then after, like I said, as it went on, it was like there wasn't really, I don't know, there wasn't anything that really like wowed me though. I mean, granted, I wanted to see what was going to happen next, but there was nothing that made me go like there was nothing that would really made me want to like not check my phone on a Friday, like
Yeah.
in work. Like Mandalorian season 2, every Friday I was like, man, I don't want to get spoiled on this. I don't want to get spoiled on Monday. But like this, I'm like, yeah, okay. Like as it went along, I'm like, I want to see where they're going with this. I want to see what they do,
Yeah.
but
The
it just
the
never really,
the
it never
penultimate
really.
episode I was real disappointed with. Just
Mhm.
because I was like, I really don't think anything happened, and they're just drawing out the ending. I was just like, oh man.
Yeah,
Because I
it's
really don't like when all the action happens in the last 10 minutes of a series. It just
mhm.
irks me because I really like equal pacing.
Well, and that's kind of going back to I think the finale. I don't know. I know there's some people that probably really liked the finale, and there were parts of the finale I did enjoy, but there were a lot of it that was just like that just kind of didn't really hit with me. Mainly because it's like, okay, for the most part, this series has not been had any real action, and then the last 20 minutes or so, we got two separate superhero fights and just
Yeah, nothing
or
but
two separate
action.
Yeah, two separate CGI battles going on.
Yeah.
I really liked how Visions ended because it was more of just like kind of like that thought experiment back and forth. Like, okay, that's
Mhm.
kind of a neat way to sort of you have a character as analytical as Vision.
Right.
Like that's a neat way to end that sort of conflict. But then Wanda's, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier about like this show, a very unique show, and then we're trying to reverse engineer it into the Marvel framework.
Yeah.
Where it was like, okay, we have the hero who's fighting the villain, who's just like her, but just has a different color scheme, and they're just shooting lasers at each other. And yeah, how they resolve the conflict. I figured at first, do you guys remember the original, the 2003 Hulk movie?
With
Eric Bana.
A little
I know
bit.
that he did it.
And
I've phased it out of my memory.
okay, I thought they were going with that ending where it's like, oh, you want the power, take it all, and then Agatha just blows up. But then they went with the, oh, I showed you how to defeat me like 2.5 episodes ago, where it's like, oh, she's drawing runes, even though she's had no training. I guess I should get into that. Like it's a movie, it makes sense. Like she saw it once, I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
But it's like, but it is just kind of like, no, I kind of saw how this is going to end up.
Who was the
Uh,
villain in the Eric Bana one?
Um, yeah, well, actually, you probably had the best casting of Thunderbolt Ross, Sam Elliott, and then
Yeah.
Nick Nolte was the. They did a version of the Absorbing Man. Again, this is one of those things that
Hmm.
just fills my mind where it probably could be, used for like useful facts and
Yeah.
things like that. Instead, I have plot details of Ang
There have been
Lee's
so
Hulk.
many failed Hulks.
Yeah. Oh, and he
Yeah,
fought mutant dogs.
I don't think I even saw the Edward Norton version. I think I skipped
Yeah.
that.
I think
Yeah.
you and Marvel have forgotten that the Edward Norton version happened.
I'm really glad they just like settled and were like, we're not gonna choose anybody else. We're gonna stick through with what's his name?
William,
Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah, Ruffalo.
the only
Yeah.
thing that survived that movie was William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross. That's the only thing that made it out of that movie unscathed.
Okay. Yeah. But in regards to the finale, I was happy with it because it did end logically with
Mhm.
I think having Scarlet Witch come into her full fruition, like she is now the Scarlet Witch, and we can call her that instead of just Wanda. Um, I think that did it, and the fact that they didn't overly sexualize her with her outfit, I think was very empowering because like we did not see her as just like this sex icon like they do some characters in
Right.
comics, and I'm like, kudos to that.
I will. That's one of the. Again, there's a lot of things I liked from the show. I did like lot. I liked a lot of the costuming, especially again. Yeah, definitely. Well, it is kind of funny. They did in the Halloween episode. They did. Oh, here's your comics accurate look. Look how stupid they all look.
Right.
Mhm.
And,
But
and
like,
it was great, like diversion to it, because then you didn't really think about what happens when she comes into her full outfit. You're thinking,
Yeah.
oh, I want to see the original outfit. And then we see it and we're like, okay, got it.
it's
That's awesome.
it works. It's not the colors are a little muted, but it's like you know what the way the MCU is set up. It's like okay, we can't be bright colors in your face, but it's like it's a good design between okay, how do we keep faithful to the comics look with also being not too silly where people go like, well, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I think that was very well played, and it makes me real happy that she can be the Scarlet Witch from here on out. And because I mean, I think that's what's lacking in a lot of superhero movies is that we sometimes really do want the ridiculous outfit because
Yeah,
it's
Right.
fun. And when you don't really see it that much, it's like kind of diminishes it. But like if Wanda is like always in her Scarlet Witch outfit, I'm game.
I like how they reinterpreted the little headpiece as being more like, oh, this is like a witch's crown or something.
Right,
Like
right,
Mhm.
that's
yeah.
kind of like that's like okay, that's like a neat way of recontextualize that instead of it just being like this weird, awkward headpiece.
Yeah, like I didn't think of that, but that's awesome.
Hmm.
What did you think of Agatha as the principal antagonist?
I loved her. I thought she was fun.
Yeah.
Catherine Hahn is a delight.
Yeah.
You know, I think she. I will say once she gets fully revealed as Agatha, it kind of goes a little. It kind of teeters for me a bit, but everything when she's
Mhm.
in the way they reinterpreted her throughout the decades, I really like.
Yeah.
As much as I joked about the Quicksilver, being a $71 billion boner joke, I do like that
Hmm.
we have the reveal like, oh, who Ralph is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, going to fan theories, a lot of people are like, is Ralph actually Mephisto in disguise?
Yeah.
There's a lot of dumb ones out there.
Yeah, I'm in a meme group, and during the airing of this, everything was like, "Oh, this is Mephisto. This is Mephisto. This is." It's like, no, it isn't. It isn't.
Right, and I have to feel like that was intentional
Mhm.
because there were so many like direct links to it, and we're like, you know, 3 out of 5 of these are straight up Mephisto references,
Mhm.
but like we just didn't see it.
Well, I remember like, and again, this is going back to the age that we live in, where like toys can like spoil stuff in movies.
Yeah.
I thought I remember seeing on one of the Reddit pages someone posting like a Funko Pop of like Mephisto, and I was like, well, great, now I know Mephisto's in the
Yeah.
show. Then he
Mm.
just isn't. So,
Yeah.
um, but I guess did we ever get like a clear thing from you guys? Like, what are your thoughts on all the red herrings they tossed in? Because I know the first big one outside of like the Mephisto stuff is a lot of people were thinking Monica Rambeau's friend was going to be Reed Richards for some reason. Did you guys ever
Oh,
hear it?
right.
That was circling around until it just when they were like, "Oh, we need to build a vehicle in order to get back inside Westview." She
Yeah,
says,
I
"Oh,
didn't even think about that because I saw some board saying that like this could be a lead into the Fantastic Four, but I was like, I must have missed that, and I also don't really care about the Fantastic Four, so who cares? And I moved on.
and honestly, I wouldn't have even known that if it wasn't for again just uber nerds posting online like, could it be this? Could it be that? And it's just like I do wish we lived like where a show could just be a show and I didn't know anything about it. Because the problem with
Yeah,
well, like for the past several years, I've known like, okay, so Randall Park from Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to be in this. Darcy Lewis or Kat Dennings is going to be in it.
yeah,
Like all the stuff of like, oh, who's going to be in this, and all the behind the scenes and people who are really going into those details. It kind of ruins the fun. I think if I didn't know some of that stuff, I think I could have enjoyed the show a lot more. Just like I'm discovering it as the show is presenting it, instead of like, well, I know eventually we're going to meet Jimmy Woo. I know eventually Kat
hmm
Dennings is going to show up.
See,
So it's kind
that's where I think I was with the show. I didn't know any of this stuff, so it was kind of
mm,
cool. I was learning along, so I thought that was kind of neat.
yeah,
of
Like I would
so my,
like when we found out about Agatha, like I actually had to look her up because I didn't know who Agatha was
yeah.
in the
It
comics.
went beside me because I was like, I think I recognize the name, but at the same time, I was just like, I am just gonna admit. I don't know, and I want to start from square one with her. Who is she? And apparently, she isn't like that much of a villain in the series, the comics. More of a
She's like
just
more of a teacher, I think.
yeah,
yeah,
I think everything I looked up because as more of a grade character, which is kind of where the show sort of leaves it at.
yeah.
Uh,
And that's fine because you don't have to be good or bad, and you could switch because it's an
Mhm.
interpretation of the comics. So
I will say this, like, you know, kind of like sort of remembering the whole show in hindsight. I will say this is probably the darkest entry that the MCU has done out of anything that they've made, considering that we have our hero forcibly, trapping people in this personal hell where they have to kind of smile and put on a bright face, but
yeah,
in their own minds are like being, basically they're turned into slaves
I
of
would
this.
need to think about
Almost
that because yeah, it was very dark, but I don't know if it's the darkest we've seen.
It's pretty. I would be. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that goes this sort of like
Yeah.
brutal. I mean, that scene in the finale. I guess. Well, I guess spoilers, but the scene
Yeah.
finale where like Agatha releases everyone from Wanda's spell, and they're just like begging her, like, please, just don't do this anymore. Please, tell.
That was heartbreaking and
It was
eerie.
like, oh my god, like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is horrifying.
Yeah.
Uh, the But no, because I can't. Yeah, because I'm like, this is really dark to take an MCU story. Like,
Yeah.
generally they're pretty. That's the one thing they're pretty lighthearted. I mean, because even when
It
they're
was
talking about
definitely
like,
a more
oh,
mature stance, and I think the audience really
yeah,
appreciated that.
and and I will say that's probably the saving grace of the finale is at least it focused outside of the whole again. Oh, we gotta work in an MCU hero fight, which is like whatever. At least it ended with like Wanda kind of coming to terms with her grief and
Mhm.
letting go, which is like that's what the show is leading to, and that it's in that respect, it's what the story needed to be.
Agreed.
Uh,
I am going to sign off, but I wanted the one point I wanted to bring up was that I'm really happy that Kat Dennings was able to get a lot of airtime mid-season, because I mean, frankly, I just really like her as a person, and that she wasn't used as um, a icon. She was just a very smart person. I was like,
Mhm.
I would love to see her in this because I personally, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Two Broke Girls, and this is a good um, stepping stone for her. Not that she needs it, but
no,
Right.
which
so.
I will say this, very disappointed at no point when she was sucked into the sitcom world was there a Two Broke Girls reference. Like I was kind of expecting her to be a barista or something, like just like a
Yeah,
small wink and a nod.
Mhm.
right. Because Marvel, as compared to this local, news station, they can get it. They can get those rights.
Yeah,
Easy. So,
it's like, oh, she just has to be a barista, which is uncopyrighted, and she can be working with another girl. Like it was set up right there perfectly for you.
it's black
You
and
know,
white there. So,
we were this close to greatness.
so. All right. Well, yeah. I'm gonna sign off. I'll talk to you guys soon.
See ya, Gorehound.
All right.
Bye
See
now.
ya. But no, I know for me, I really love this series. And in fact, like I would purposely get up early before I would have to start work just so I could watch the episode and not have it spoiled for me. Because if you go on Twitter, you would see anything that was trending pretty much gave away what was in the episode.
hmm Uh, like I said, I will say this was my Friday night ritual, like for the past several weeks. Um, and I will say it took a little while for Megan to get into it because at first she did not
Mhm.
like the hardcore sitcom elements, which I found delightful because I've I've said this to several friends, and I don't know if I brought it up on the podcast before, but we're entering the era of the weird superhero show,
Mhm.
where you have stuff like Legends of Tomorrow, Doom Patrol, the Umbrella Academy, and I know there's a whole bunch of other ones that are just like based on these really obscure out there comics. So I appreciate that Marvel was trying to do more of like, okay, we're going to have a show that is one part a story focusing on Scarlet Witch and Vision, but it's also going to be
Mhm.
this. It's also going to be at the same time a celebration of TV sitcoms throughout the years. It's going to be kind of out there, which again I appreciated the concept, but I really wish they hadn't tried to make the finale more equivalent to like the movies,
Right.
down to some of the worst details of like Marvel stuff. Like the one thing I wanted to bring up earlier, which we've talked about Agatha being one of the antagonists. The
Mhm.
other antagonist of the series, Hayward. What
Yeah.
a
Uh.
what a joke! Like I was kind of hoping this is going to be a bit of a Star Trek reference. I was kind of hoping they were going to do like a Captain Jellicoe, where he's like, there's like an episode of TNG where he like replaced Picard for like a few episodes for like a little bit of a mini arc. where he
Oh,
was kind of,
okay.
where
I don't
he
think
was
I've
kind
seen that one yet.
it was from one of the later seasons, but where
Okay.
he's kind of a hard ass. Nobody really likes him, but at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
he's right. And Hayward is
Ah.
just like, I'm the bad guy for reasons.
Right, and
Like,
I'm just gonna do bad guy things, and here we go.
with
There's really no motivation behind it other than just to be a dick.
yeah, like I think I'm trying to remember as hard as I can. The only two things I can think of, there's like two lines. There's like one where he's like, "Oh, I survived the snap. You don't know how bad it got." So, okay, kind of paranoid from the snap, got it. And then there's a second line where he's like, I think in the finale where he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter which vision is left standing. You know, I think so he could have his vision that he controlled be the main vision for a
Right.
reason." It
Yeah.
wasn't. It's very much going back to the step one,
Yeah.
resurrect the vision, have him under control. Step two, question mark. Step three, profit. Uh, yeah,
True.
because again, it should be very hard to like, because Wanda is more or less the villain of the show. Not again. I like that it's like, oh, it doesn't start intentionally, but even when she realized it, she doesn't stop it. Which again is
Right.
kind of is interesting that they do that for again someone who is an Avenger. So I
Yeah.
appreciate, and that kind of goes back to my dark sort of like how dark they made this entire series.
Yeah, and I especially like the fact that like after it's all said and done, as she's about to leave the town, everybody's just staring at her, and I like because they're not washing away what she did to them. They're making it clear that no, these people know what she did to them, and there's probably going to be consequences for that.
And they're
Because
yeah, it
oh,
is
sorry.
not a. Oh, I was gonna say it is not a feel good. You know, most Marvel movies end on a kind of like a feel good triumphant note. This is a sad ending. Like
Yeah,
it's the only hope that our main character has is like, well, I'm just gonna have to learn how to use this power and kind of accept it and deal with
yeah,
it.
but I think a part of me kind of liked that because it kind of reminded me. I haven't been in. I haven't watched the latest season, but I love Doctor Who, and one of the reasons why I love Doctor Who is they have episodes that just completely rip your heart out. That it's just an emotional roller coaster, and it some of them just hit you right in the face, but you still enjoy it. It's like I enjoy being hurt by this because it's so well done. And I kind of feel like this had some elements of that to it, and I think that's why I really liked it.
I will say this: I got sad. I did not cry. Megan cried at the finale, but
I
I
cried.
held it.
I'll
I
admit.
held in those tears. uh,
I'm at the age where I don't care anymore. It's like nope, I cried. I cried. I will admit I cried.
yeah. Um, I'm trying to think of other stuff I want to bring. Um, shoot, sorry, I lost my train. I lost my train of thought
No
there.
worries. Actually, I did have a question. What did you think about them releasing it on like a week by week basis? Do you think that was a good idea, or would you prefer that they release it all at once? Because I can actually see it working both ways.
Yeah, it's and this is something that again Disney sort of kind of set up for itself with the Mandalorian,
Right.
which is very much an older style of thinking when it comes to TV shows. But at the same time, it also works because instead of like people, kind of like enjoying the show in like one or two solid weekends, they could just, you have to kind of wait for that episode to come around, and it extends the conversation.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree.
which I'll be honest, I kind of forgot what that feeling was like of like, oh, I have to wait for the next episode to come out. I think I was a kid. It was like The Office was probably that show for me.
Mm-hmm.
That or The Simpsons. So I don't know. I'm kind of got mixed feelings. On the one hand, yeah, I'd like to just sit down, watch it, and be like, well, that was fun. On the other
Mm-hmm.
hand, I kind of like that I have to sort of make this like little ritual of it, where it's like, okay, it's Friday night, I got to get home. I'm going to get home, get settled, do what I need to do, and then I'm just going to sit back, watch the show, and just enjoy it. But because I'm kind of doing that, with the other show that me and Megan have been watching, Outlander, where most all the seasons have been that are available that are made so far are like on streaming in one way or another.
Okay.
So we kind of did that, and there's a part of me that's like, I think if it wasn't released, like, okay, like the first two seasons of that show were like, oh man, I can't wait for the next episode. But then the last couple seasons have been like, what, I'm good wait, watching something else. Where it's like, if it wasn't the fact that I could binge it, I probably really wouldn't care to watch it the
Right.
following season, like, eh. And this show, I will say, has that where I'm like, I want to know what this leads into, where this goes next. Again, I just wish that the last couple episodes after they stopped doing the decades format, I wish that it wasn't so MCU-ish.
Yeah.
Because again, it stripped away what was really unique about the show, the fact that it had it had commercial breaks, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
The episodes that I was missing, I was like, I want those commercials, man. Those are fun.
I know.
I love
those.
I love how on the nose they are, like the paper towel ad. Lago,
Yeah.
did you make a mess you didn't need to make? It's like, wow. I guess I wonder whose subconscious this is.
No kidding. And it was just it was fun seeing, like, kind of looking forward to, like, what the next episode, like, what show that would parody next, like what decade or what format that would kind of follow.
I appreciate that it wasn't necessarily like a one-to-one like satire of a particular show. Like,
right.
I like that each decade kind of borrowed elements from different shows a little bit to kind of make its own unique thing.
Oh yeah.
Where you can't say, oh, well, they're just ripping off, one particular one, like in the '90s episode, like, oh, this ripping off Malcolm in the Middle. Well, yes, but there's also kind of other elements of other shows from that time. Although I will say that one was probably the closest. The rest of them, I think, the '60s ones had a little bit of Bewitched, and I'll be honest, I don't know that much about older sitcoms. The only one I watched,
the older ones were kind of like Bewitched, Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy, and of course you see why that is, because when you see when she has to go through her flashbacks, you see the DVDs of the TV shows that they would watch.
Her dad was selling bootlegs in the Soviet bloc.
Yes.
Which is weird that Malcolm in the Middle somehow got caught up in that mess.
They did, yeah. They did somebody did point that out. It's like, well, that wouldn't have been out on DVD at the time, but.
Like I say with the science of how superheroes work, don't think about it too much.
Exactly. But I really enjoyed having something to look forward to each Friday, and I'm even though we binge a lot of shows now, there are still certain shows that we watched that are only available once a week. Like we were still watching Better Call Saul, although that's not coming back until next year, I think. So I'm used to having to wait. I would love all the episodes at once, but there is kind of something. It's kind of a nice feeling to have something to look forward to. Like, oh, that's right. Today's Friday or today's Saturday, and we have a new episode. That's going to be awesome.
I will say, yeah, it is a double-edged sword because it is like, on the one hand, yeah, I just want to watch all the episodes at once, get it over with. On the other hand, I kind of like that anticipation where I'm like having to think like, ooh, I wonder what they're going to do next. I wonder where they're going to go. But again, kind of going off an earlier point that I made of just like, because with Marvel and a lot of these bigger studio projects, we know a lot of the big stuff that they're going to probably have in these shows even before their trailers put out. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like apparently I didn't know it at the time, but apparently the whole Evan Peters thing was like everybody kind of knew, oh, Evan Peters is going to show up in some form. Which I was like, when I watched it, I was like, holy shit! Like, I was like, that's, I'll start again. going back to that whole like, what's this mean? What's this going to do? But then again, the way they handle it in the finale is like, oh, so we're not diving into the multiverse. Like, and I mentioned earlier, like this is the second project. They started teasing that in the Spider-Man sequel. Like, oh, here's where the MCU's going. We're going to venture into the multiverse. Nah, not really. WandaVision. Oh, we're leading to Doctor Strange. Multiverse of Madness. Oh, here's another Quicksilver. Are we going to say it? Nah, not really.
Yeah. No.
Uh,
But yeah, some of them, I guess, some of the things they do, I think they are trying to troll us a little bit.
Well, I will say Paul Bettany, I think needs to get some credit for trolling the world.
Right, the Luke Skywalker cameo he was talking about.
Yeah, he's like an actor that I've never gotten to work with. Which I will say this: if that man wasn't if he didn't have a good charisma, like if this was an RPG, he put all his points into charisma. Because like if anyone else did that, I'd be pissed. But like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was kind of cool to see. Again, I'm glad they kind of did sort of like how Vision was in the comics. Like, oh well, he died, came back. You know, we had a white look to him. Like that's fun.
Vision the White.
Yeah, Vision the White. Although I will say it was kind of horrifying when he almost crushed Scarlet Witch's head like a grape.
Yeah, that was.
I
I actually jumped out of my seat. I was like, whoa, 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 stop.
I think it was the sound effects. Like they had a real like.
Yeah.
There was like a crunching noise. I was like, holy crap! I think
Yeah.
is this how the show ends?
And at that point, you wouldn't be surprised if it did end that way. It's just like, well, it's pretty fucking dark. So yes, I could see it end like this. The end.
Yeah. I guess the one question I want to bring up to you before anything else, and mainly because Marvel hasn't really said with any of these Disney Plus shows if they're going to be just one and done sort of things, or if the shows are going to get season twos at all. Do you think they should give a season two, and what do you think that season two should look like?
That's the thing. I this felt like a complete series to me. I don't know if like, because if they did another season, I think they would definitely have to get away from the sitcom mystery part of it. And I don't know. I thought it had a very good beginning, middle, and end. And now I feel like anything that's gonna explore Wanda's story further is gonna be in the movies.
Yeah, which we don't really know what her role is going to be in the Doctor Strange movie. All we know is she's involved somehow, and that's about it. I mean, again, there are. I think Gorehound made reference to like House of M, which I feel like a lot of the bigger X-Men storylines, I think they're going to save once they've kind of got the X-Men firmly like established. But so far, they haven't really announced any projects that are going to say like, oh, this is when mutants are going to show up. So they haven't really said like how and when they're going to start bringing in the X-Men. I know the Fantastic Four at some point are going to show up, possibly.
Right.
But that's kind of like sort of like a possibly, because at one point the Inhumans were supposed to be a movie, and then they just ended up being a crappy ABC show. So who knows?
Yeah.
I actually I will say, while I was sort of lukewarm on how the show was, I would be very interested in season two, mainly because television is only if they keep to some variation of the Wanda and Vision in television, going through different eras of television. Because I mean, there's so much you can do with TV, and they just focus on sitcoms, but there's so many different genres, so many different great shows. I could kind of, especially if they are going to do more of the multiverse. The one thing I did in my, I won't even say research, but other nerds talking about this stuff is they mentioned Wanda is a Nexus being where she's supposed to be the same in all realities. So it's like maybe they could have her sort of like quantum leaping into different realities. And they just happen to be like different TV shows, like maybe one's a cop show, one's a medical
Oh.
drama. Like that would be but I don't know. Again, I'm not a underpaid Hollywood writer, so I don't know how
Right.
you would begin to structure that. But again, that's a free idea, Kevin Feige. So call me.
Yes, please. But no, overall, I really love this show. From the first episode, it just hooked me, and even my wife really liked it. And like I said, she doesn't. I mean, she didn't absolutely love it, but she especially loved the TV, like you, the TV show, at the sitcom aspects of it. Once it got a little too quote unquote Marvel, that's I think when she kind of tuned out.
See, and again, Megan can argue me when she hears this episode. She can argue with me later. I feel like as it got closer to more Marvel stuff, I think that's when Megan got more into it because she does like the movies. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was more the sitcom elements that kind of sort of threw her off.
Yeah.
Um, oh, the one other thing I wanted to bring up, I'm just kind of going through my notes in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about. I want to kind of quickly bring up Monica Rambeau and possibly
Oh,
her
right.
character. She's kind of the, even though she's introduced in the second episode, even though she's not, she's more or less the second lead in the show, or like the second storyline that we sort of follow outside of Wanda's.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that? On this, like her, like on the character, or like what the story they tried telling with her?
I really liked her because she, just like they set it up in the series, she too was kind of experiencing grief and loss because she was part of the snap. She was one of the ones who disappeared, and when she came back, she found out that her mom had passed away. And I think that's how she was kind of relating to Wanda. She kind of knew what she was going through with loss and grief, and it was cool seeing her go through the hex and then get her powers. I forgot she was in Captain Marvel. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm a very casual fan here, so so I actually had to research some of this stuff and be like, oh, that's okay, that's right, yeah, she was the little girl in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I think honestly the way that the show ended with their one of the post credit sequences, and I will say, yeah, like I think she drew a nice parallel to Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
I know her character has powers in the comics, which I'm only when it comes to being a comic book reader, I'm lukewarm at best.
Right.
So like I know there's probably so I don't, and the show kind of gives a vague definition of what she can do. So far, it just seems like I know it's something with light. That's all I know about it from
Yeah.
everything I've read. Um, but I will say her plus Jimmy Woo and Darcy. That was kind of like a fun little trio that they had. Kind of trying to figure this stuff out or what's going on with
Mm-hmm.
Sword and Wanda. Like that. I really enjoyed that stuff. The one reason I brought her up is, again, I have a bet going with Megan. So whenever Captain Marvel 2 pops up in Marvel's 20-year plan,
Mm-hmm.
um, I am betting $5 with Megan that the reason Monica Rambeau does not seem to like Auntie Carol anymore is because, well, my mom got a rare form of cancer caused by a unique radiation signature. Your radiation, Carol.
Oh.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. If I am not proven right, I want my money back. Like, I'm not saying I could write these movies, but I mean, come on.
That would explain it because they really don't go into why she's upset with her. They
Yeah,
just it's just like a quick like throwaway line or something that she says,
well, I think
and they don't really go back to it.
she starts. I think she's like, well, Wanda could have taken out Thanos, and then I think Jim Woo's just like, well, yeah, but Captain Marvel though, am I right? So, and then she
Yeah,
gets all
and
weird.
speaking of, We need a series with just Jimmy Woo and Darcy, where they just investigate all the weird superhero shit cases that's going on. I would
I
totally be up for that.
Yeah, no, give it time. I'm sure they'll probably announce again. Disney being our corporate overlords are probably going to announce something like that. Which with as much as I joke, I will say this: I probably watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of a majority of my thoughts were on WandaVision. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Like I can't get mad at it because it's exactly as advertised, but it's not. I do think there are some people online that have kind of gone like, oh, this is the next big thing, which I'm like, it's good. It's not bad. I mean, the quality
Hmm.
is definitely there. Like that's the one thing I will give to all these sort of Disney Plus shows. Oh, I will bring up one kind of like big negative thing. This is my one sort of finger wag,
All right.
and I'm calling false advertising. So, okay, as you and I, since we are on the streaming service, every time when they post like, okay, the length of the episode, they're like, okay, 29 minutes, 32 minutes, like, okay, like a little bit on the shorter side, but whatever. It's
Hmm.
usually as long as it's packed with content. The first episode, it said like it was like 32 minutes, and then like the credits started rolling, and like, oh, there's 5 minutes left. Oh, there's got to be a post credit sequence. There's got to be a post credit sequence. Wrong, wrong.
Yeah.
5 minutes of lies that I thought were going to be
Uh-huh.
like, oh, there's clearly something hidden. I just got to sit here. And the first episode, I'm like, come on, where are you? I'm sitting here. I've done this long enough, and nothing. Like, I get it. I and then now, granted, they eventually once the show got more MCU-ish, that's when they started doing the post-credit sequence. And like, I think
Right,
is it,
which threw everybody off because they'd be like, "Well, I've been skipping the credits because nothing's been happening."
but like this was like their first outing. Well, I should say first outing. This is their Marvel's third attempt
Hmm.
at doing a TV show that ties into the main movies. Um, First being Agents of Shield, then the Netflix shows, which Marvel has quietly sidestepped and said those are redheaded stepchildren. We're not going to talk about them. Um, but your first big show that's got actors from the MCU, it's going to be connected to the overall story. And in your first episode, you don't have the post credit stuff, and you wait
Yeah.
until your show's almost over. I mean, yeah, a little disappointing. I really wish again there weren't like 5 minutes of credits because again it makes your
Yeah.
show like it's a lot longer than it actually is.
Hmm.
So that's my one little soapbox I wanted to get have recorded for all the internet to hear.
Yeah, no, I agree with that because then you would see an episode. It's like, oh, it says it's 45 minutes long, which means it's gonna be 8 minutes of credits.
Right. It's a 2 minute recap followed by 5 minutes of credits. And the only saving grace, because again, Mandalorian does the exact same stuff.
Hmm.
The only saving grace of both these shows, where I can't be too mad, except for maybe the finale, is the episodes themselves are usually pretty well paced. That I
Hmm.
don't that I don't feel like I'm being cheated at all.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, well, again, this is a quality versus quantity argument. But with that being said, if your episode's only 22 minutes long, just say it's 22 minutes. Don't add in 5 minutes of credits where it makes you think, oh, there's got to be something more behind this.
Yeah.
Um, which I will say, like, in terms of after credit sequences, for at least for the final episode, I think they're kind of lackluster. Like
Hmm.
we have basically what boils down to one being a tease for a Captain Marvel sequel, and one being a kind of sort of tease for maybe Doctor Strange 2,
That's
where we
how I
see,
took that as. Yeah, that's
yeah,
how I took that as.
but nothing like, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know what to expect or what you could do to really make like people's minds explode. But
Mhm.
I would say unless you did something hardcore with the X-Men or you like introduced Mephisto or some other like huge Marvel big bad. But as they were, they're just kind of like, okay. I mean, this is just basically a mini advertisement to watch more of our movies.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I will say the thing that did make me happy about this series was I was a little worried that it was gonna feel more like this is just setting up pieces for future movies, and it's not gonna really feel like a coherent, like an individual series itself. But it didn't feel like that to me, so I'm really happy about that. Like it still felt like its own thing. It didn't feel like, oh, we're just setting up pieces for later stuff.
Yeah, like I think only near the end did it get kind of get that with Doctor Strange.
Hmm.
Maybe the only other thing that probably was around that was maybe like, oh, are the X-Men coming? Or, but again, that goes more into fan theories and more, and I think that goes into what people wanted the show to be versus what the show actually was.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of, if I had to pinpoint where a lot of the frustration is coming from, I think it's probably that like, oh, we wanted the show to be this and to do all this crazy stuff instead of just being what it is, which is just it's a character journey through a fantastical setting.
Hmm.
Um, one other thing I did want to add. So now that we kind of know, now that the cat's out of the bag, now that we kind of know, you know, where the story goes, like from episode 1 all the way to episode 9, do you think you're going to rewatch it again, like how like you
Oh
would a
yeah, in
Marvel?
fact, I already have. I already have because like I started watching it by myself, and then my wife wanted to watch it like maybe a week ago or so. So I rewatched it, and it's fun rewatching it because after you know everything that's going on, you pick up on little clues and hints that just seem a lot more different the second time around. And no, I will definitely rewatch this.
Okay, I I'm going to probably end up. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I think it's going to need to be a little while because it like mainly because the biggest thing the show had going was just like discovering what was going on. I think maybe I'll probably eventually visit it, but it's not going to be anytime soon. Just because it's like
Okay.
it's going to be for me, it's going to be like the equivalent of watching. I mean, it's a little bit higher, but a little bit of equivalent of watching Thor: The Dark World, where it's like, yeah, it's all right, but I don't know if
Hmm.
I'm ready to visit this anytime soon. Or like Captain Marvel itself. It's like it's all right, but I don't know if I need to rewatch this anytime soon.
I can
Uh,
understand that.
um, the last thing I wanted to kind of bit of housekeeping related to this. This goes into the bigger sort of Marvel experiment going forward. So this is kind of like how Iron Man sort of set the precedent for like where all the other movies should try to hit. Do you
Hmm.
think WandaVision? Where do you think WandaVision is going to be? Is it going to be like the high point, or do you think it's going to be kind of like, or do you think the other shows that we know of so far, which I think this year, I think we're supposed to get in a few weeks, we're going to have Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Hmm.
And I think at some point in the summer there's going to be a Loki show. So where do you think like it'll? Do you think this will be like the peak, or do you think like those other two shows are going to surpass it?
For me personally, I think this is the high point. Just for me, because I am excited about the next one coming up, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I also feel like that's just gonna be your typical Marvel straightforward action show, which is fine. I'm excited for that. That's what I want to see. This it's just WandaVision just took me by surprise because I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Like I didn't read any. I don't even think I saw a trailer for this, and I didn't read any theories other than being in a meme group, which I would see,
Right.
jokes or references. But I don't know. This for me, it's a very high point, and it's gonna be hard for another show to top it. Maybe Loki, but just because I like Loki so much, I think that could be fun.
Yeah, that I think I'm gonna probably agree with you there. 'Cause I think the Loki show again seems more interesting. Like, oh, we probably could never do this in a movie.
Right.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think is going to be. Let me back up a little bit. WandaVision, I appreciate because it was truly an episodic TV show where
Hmm.
everything, you know, each episode stood on its own. It was just like a chapter in a book. It's like, okay, this is a self-contained thing, little tease into future stuff, but for the most part, you could watch this by itself and understand what the whole point of the story was. I have a feeling that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show is probably going to just be a very long MCU movie broken up into 6 or 8 parts, depending on how long
Yeah.
they want it for.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
how I feel, which is fine. I'm okay with that.
yeah, it's kind of hard to argue against it because it's like, I mean, it's exactly as advertised.
Yeah.
It's like I can't necessarily hate on it. I mean, I hope it's good. I mean, that's the problem with Marvel. It's like baseline, it's usually going to always be good. It's kind
Yeah.
of more, is it going to be exceptional or is it just going to be okay?
Right.
I think that's where I will say it's hard to argue against it. It's I think a little bit relies on the quality of the production because
Hmm.
like it's hard really to say, wow, this is a bad show when like it looks this good. Everything feels like this is a movie, but just done in a television format.
Right.
Um, like that was the biggest thing with like the Netflix shows is like you could kind of feel like okay, we have like 5 or 6 sets. We are going to use them. God damn it! TV is not cheap. Um, this at least feels like everything is very it does feel truly cinematic. Where there's nothing else I can really think of that comes close, short of like maybe like Game of Thrones in like its prime.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, that's kind of everything that's been sort of on my mind with it. Mike, do you got any other closing thoughts?
I'm sure I'm repeating myself at this point, but I love the show. I know it's only what that I lose track of time. It's March, right? It's
Yeah,
March.
March.
I know it's early in the year, but right now this gets my vote for best series of the year. It would have been Better Call Saul if that was going to come out this year, but that's from what I heard, that's not going to come out until next year.
Thanks, Rona.
So
Thanks, Fiona.
yes. So yeah, I'm a complete fanboy over this series. I loved it. I loved every single episode, and I'm definitely gonna rewatch it.
It'll be interesting. I think I'll need to give it some time. Right now, I think maybe with everything kind of like knowing how the show begins and ends might change my perspective on it. I think it is good. I think it is good. I don't think it's the second coming or like I don't think it's one of those MCU high points. I think it just kind of surfing there in the middle where it's good. It does exactly what it needs to be. I think it tried to tease itself to make it seem bigger than it was, but I
Hmm.
do think a lot of that was on some of the fans than it was on the actual creators.
Right.
So with that being said, boys and girls, join us next week for Twilight. Mike, say with me. This has been the all new Culture Cast. I am Cousin Charles,
I Mike.
and we'll see you next time. Good night.
You've been listening to the all-new CultureCast. Check us out on social media. Drop us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We can't promise we'll read it. Theme music by Dana Vodovaz. Check out his work on YouTube with Vodovaz Music Productions. This has been the all-new CultureCast, a saltwater production. Original material copyright 2021. Thanks for listening.
All right, where are we? An hour and 12. Okay, I'll text Nick
With
that.
cool with 8 minutes of end credits too.